Hi, Clarence. Thank you very much for taking part in the Business Spotlight series. I'm going to hand straight over to you to introduce yourself and what you do.
Hi, my name is Clarence Maguire Swartz. I am the Managing Director and Founding Partner of hubXchange. We're a business-to-business events company that specializes in the pharmaceutical sector. All of our events are held across the East Coast and the West Coast of the US and also across Europe. We currently host about 24 events in a year, and that would be across the areas of antibody therapeutics, immuno-oncology, CNS, AI and drug discovery, supply chain, oncology companion diagnostics, genomics and precision oncology, and also looking at IP and medical devices.
Fantastic. So obviously a lot of different things involved there, and also I guess really important and meaningful exchanges happening when people meet at your events. How many people go to event typically?
Typically, we have about say 65 to 70 people attend our events. And that's purely just because it's not a standard conference. It's you know, even though we get pigeonholed in the conference model, we're not a conference company. So therefore, you know, we don't need hundreds and thousands of people attending our events. It's more of a strategic meeting where we work with peer-to-peer networking.
So is there an element of sort of invite only to the events? Or how does it work in terms of
It is, yes. So basically what we do is we put together a scientific program, but we make sure we don't dilute the audience. We only work with director level and above. And that's purely because we feel that, you know, these are the reasons why these individuals you will never usually see them at a conference. It's purely because the audience is always diluted. There's not much that a senior level director or EVP or a CEO of a large pharma company can learn from a junior scientist or a manager. And, you know, that's what we find happens at a conference. You know, you take 2 or 3 days out of the office, you've got to set up a stand and a booth and everything. And there's loads of people that attend the event, but it's not always on the same level. So it's not worth their time. And that's how I've looked at the industry. And I created a model that, you know, sort of coincides with that, where we have a lot of peer-to-peer networking going on.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense, Clarence. And how long did you say you've run the company for?
I've been doing it. It's going into 6 years now. In 2023 will be 6 years.
Excellent. And what was the impact of COVID on the business?
To be fair, COVID for us was actually our best year. And that is obviously everybody pivoted and panicked for a bit, you know, and then we went on to online. But I sort of sat down and I looked at it and thought about how I can do this right and how I need to get it right, but also do it differently. So what we did was I invested in acquiring an online platform that where we could still host the meetings in the same format, you know, and it wasn't just a stock standard Zoom breakout room, that sort of thing, you know. There was we had like a virtual booth space where people could look at what the company does. We also had a section there where they could request the meetings based on the capabilities of the audience and that sort of thing. And then post-event meetings, all of that. So, you know, I spent a little bit of money, but then, as I say, it was our best year. And because of that, I think the audience also appreciated that we still maintain the integrity of the meeting.
And are you still doing some online now, or is it switched back to in person?
No, we're moving away from online. I think the industry itself, you know, everybody's sort of getting a lot of Zoom fatigue, and they find that it's not always conducive to the conversation because suddenly a meeting would get cancelled, the boss has rung you up and you need to take the call. So and that goes the same for the event. So we found that you know, moving back to online, a lot of people want to get back to online, but also the networking part of it. You know, there's a lot to be said about actually meeting somebody face to face, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Oh, really interesting. And in terms of the business, what would you say are the challenges moving forward?
The challenges for us as a business is, as I mentioned earlier, is getting out of this the pigeonhole where everybody just thinks we're another stock standard conference company. I mean, for us, once somebody comes along and they experience an exchange, you know, the first things they say is, wow, this was a really good meeting, a really good conversation, because of the seniority of the group. It's peer-to-peer. And also the interaction. You don't just have somebody standing on a podium talking about the ideal solution, which is their solution, and talking at you for, you know, half an hour, 45 minutes, and then death by PowerPoint presentation. It's actually a hands-on meeting where it's a roundtable discussion, and the conversation is open to the audience. Everybody that's in that session has requested to be there based on the topic and the conversation that's going to be taking place. So it's relevant to everybody. But it's how do I get that message out to everybody, and how do we distinguish ourselves apart from the stock standard conference companies that are out there? So we have a very active calling campaign where we have assigned delegate salespeople to get the message out there. We do a lot of marketing on LinkedIn. We are also advertising in directories. But it's about just getting in front of the people, and also word of mouth. And over the last 5 years, we've been seeing the transition now. More and more people are liking what we're doing. They're talking to more and more of their colleagues. So when the phone rings and they hear it's hubXchange, it's refreshing for a change that somebody wants to take the call, as opposed to take a message, I'm not here, send me an email, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so they're starting to know you and
yeah.
trust you. That's great. And what's been your biggest learning as a business owner?
The biggest learning for me as a business owner is, I'd have to say, is how to deal with people and situations. You know, it's everyone is different. And also from a business standpoint, business perspective, you can't make any rash decisions. You know, you need to seriously sit down, think about it. You need to share the idea with some of your peers and see what their thoughts are, and take that on board, because, you know, you only get one chance to make an impression. And if you do that incorrectly, you know, it's all for nothing. So for me, it was about getting my head round in terms of how to manage people differently, and also how to look at making the best decision for the business.
Fantastic, thank you. And look, on a similar but slightly different note, have you got any advice you'd give to your 18-year-old self?
Yes, my 18-year-old self would be, I would say, you know, if I'd known then what I know now, it would again be stop being so rash, acting so quick. You know, sit down, plan, think about it, and then move forward. Think about what you say, if that makes sense.
Definitely. We're big advocates of planning here, so definitely can resonate with that. What currently inspires you?
I would say I'm very, very money driven, but also in terms of, I have a plan in terms of, I don't really want to be working beyond 55. I feel that, you know, my dad, having worked his whole life, and then as soon as he got into retirement, he had 10 years with us, and then he's gone. So I'm mindful that I want to work to a certain age, but then be able to enjoy life with my kids, my family, and also for myself, you know, do things that I wasn't able to do as an 18-year-old Clarence because I couldn't afford it. So therefore, you know, I intend on working hard for a very short space of time. I'm not working hard, but working smart, but over a certain period of time, and then making sure that I can enjoy the rest of my life and have a better quality of life, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, definitely share those values as well. It's important to enjoy it, because yeah, we only get so much time, so definitely resonate with that. Thank you. And as a final thing, is there any offer or any news you'd like to share with our audience?
Yeah, I'd say, yeah, you know, look up for hubXchange in 2023. There's a lot that we're doing. We're going to be hosting in Brussels next year. And we've also bringing some new topics to the portfolio in terms of the IP, supply chain, clinical and medical devices. So yeah, look out for us, you know, and we're more than happy to sort of have the senior level audience come along and be part of the exchange.
That's great. Thank you very much. It's really interesting. It's always good to hear from different types of business. So it's very great to hear more about what you do. And thank you very much for taking part.
Ed, thank you very much. Take care.